I'm back! Did I turn 31 2 days ago? Yes. Am I feeling chaotic during Gemini season? Also, yes. Does that mean it's the perfect time to start season 3 of Perfection Unfolding? You would be correct. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Perfection Unfolding with me, your girl and host, Kara G. This podcast, this space I wrote a little bit something to describe it to those of you just joining us, but those of you who've been here, you already know the damn thing, but I just wanted to give a little bit of, a little hint into the world of Perfection Unfolding. It says Perfection Unfolding is a space rooted in the idea that everything is perfect just as it is, that we are born perfect. Perfection is not something we can achieve or attain, even though I've been trying my entire life. It's something innate, something that we are unaware of as we grow, but that unfolds before us when we do the work to slip out of the masks we wear and the projections that have been thrust upon us our whole lives. This is a space where we self-reflect and take accountability for our part in our story, where we recognize that our best traits can sometimes be our worst traits, and where we have the courage to dream bigger dreams for ourselves, our loved ones, and the world at large. At least it's what I'm here to do, Join me, please. You are Perfection Unfolding. We are in this together. And my God, am I happy you're here. So, if you're new here, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Yeah, I did that. It's called karaoke for a reason. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. If you have never heard of me, if you've never heard of the show, we're going to have fun. We have fun here. Like, this is not a place where perfectionists come to be like, hey, how do we fix myself? No. I offer tools that have helped me do the work for me, and I share them with you with the hopes that maybe they help you too, okay? I am not any longer a person who subscribes to the fact that I am broken and need to be fixed. Sorry for the YouTube algorithm, but fuck that, okay? Yeah, no, we're not here to do that. You are perfect as you are, period, full stop. Now, does that mean that you're not the villain in someone's story? Absolutely not. Does that mean that there are things about you that are unhelpful? Maybe, potentially. But we're here to ask those questions. We're here to get curious. We're here to open our minds. We're here to not hold judgment for ourselves. Perfection Unfolding is literally like, I'm trying to get to the core of who I am. I'm trying to peel back those layers like the onion in watching Shrek, right? Shrek is this like wonderful, beautiful human, but like he has all these layers that he's like, that have been thrust upon him and that he is accepted and he's hardened, he's calloused, but like throughout the movie, yes, I'm talking about Shrek. Welcome to the show. But throughout the movie, you realize he's just like this soft, ooey gooey, like teddy bear at the end of the day. And that's what I think all of us are. I think all of us are ooey gooey, perfect, magical little light beans. And you know what? It might take a lifetime to get there, but let's do it together, my guy. We are all in this. We are all, as the saying goes, perfectly imperfect. But I think we're perfectly perfect. It's just the imperfectness of stuff that was given to us. Like that was like the indoctrination. That was the shame. That's the guilt. That's the pride. All very human experiences. And I'm here to be human, but I want to be human and I want to be happy and I want to be fulfilled and I want to have purpose and I want to be loved and I want to love. And so how do I do those best? And I think that's when I'm in my purest form, which is love, light, joy. That's not to negate or take away all the dirty, cruddy things that happen in life. No, it's to accept that those are true and then pursue it anyway, right? That is the harder choice. It's so much harder to be happier. It's so much harder to be joyful. It's so much harder to be loving than it is to be bitter, sad, judgmental, ashamed, right? Ugh. Ew, ah. I think all of us have experience with at least 1, 2, 3, maybe all of those things. But did you feel great when you were going through that? I didn't. And so I'm like, let me do something about it. So I went through the whole thing where I read all the books and listened to the podcast and did all the stuff. And, I'm still on a journey. I'm still on a journey, same as you. And the journey never ends. Welcome. Plot twist. It's never going away. But we can do this together. We can have fun. We can live our best lives. We can not take it so goddamn serious, okay? And that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. Welcome. And if you've been here, I freaking love you, bro. For those of you who don't know, I have not been showing up to this podcast every week for the last 9 months, okay? If you don't know me, I work in sprints, I work in seasons, and I used to be really ashamed about that. And guess who's not ashamed of it anymore? Sort of not me, still sort of, but also not, because everything is happening exactly the way that it's meant to. And I'm showing up to this pod today because, what's for you, it's not that just what's for you will find you. It's that what's for you will keep kicking you in the ass until you pursue it. Yeah, it'll just keep making you sad and pushing you in the direction and annoying the shit out of you until you start taking steps towards the thing that's looking for you. And so that's why I'm here. I started this podcast about 3 years ago in winter of 2023 because I was just at such a low point in my life. And I was just I was unemployed and I was broken up. And I just had this massive wave of creative energy of just fuck it energy. And funnily enough, I'm kind of in the same space again. Yeah. So welcome. How you doing? What the hell is up? What's going on with you, huh? Am I in my bedroom? Yes, I am, because I like feeling like I'm in a cozy purple magenta cave with my lime green bed with paisley on it. It's giving whimsy. I'm on a big old fat whimsy maxing kick. But that being said, let's get into the plug for the show, okay? Listen, I'm not the best at doing this. And you know what? I'm gonna become better. If you like what you're already listening to, if you've never been here before, hey, listen, just trust me. You're gonna love it, okay? If you've been here and you haven't rated the show, please give the show a 5-star review and rating on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you're listening to the show. If you want people to be able to find the show, I need your help, bro. My toxic trait is I keep thinking I can do everything myself. I keep thinking that people will just find me because we'll connect telepathically and they'll be like, you're my people, I'm your people, let's connect. And then I remember that that's not how it works. And so then I'm like, so please give the show a 5-star review. My plan is to keep showing up for the show in this new season 3 of episode 37, lucky episode number 37. So yeah, I just, you know what? I'm not too big to beg. I'm not too big to ask. Okay? Yeah, come on. Help me out. So yes, please give Perfection Unfolding a 5-star review. Share it with your friends. Send it to somebody who you think would like the show. Even if you just want to send this to somebody who just wants to be entertained while they're at work because they're looking for a new job and they need someone to just be in their ear, keeping them company while they're dredging along for 8 hours. That's what I'm looking for always. So that being said, love you so much. If you rate the show and share it with a friend, it's going to help me keep showing up for the show. This is what I want to do full time. Full transparency, guys. Full transparency. This is my shit. This is what I want to do with my life. Is it just me and a microphone in my bedroom? Yes. But imagine a world. I can see it now. Studio. Lights, camera, producer. What a dream. I've always wanted to be a radio DJ my whole life. I even went to college for mass communications, and my professor said that I was too annoying for radio. That happened. And he had a Marvel collection. Nothing against Marvel, just saying. So yes, this is what I want to do full time. This is what I feel creative doing. Literally 5 minutes ago, when I started this video, right before I pressed record, I was feeling really tired. And then the camera came on and I started talking about the podcast and all the things that it means to me. And now look at me. I'm on fire. I can't stop talking. I'm going a mile a minute. This lights me up. And if it lights you up, thank God, because that is the whole goal. I want to empower myself. I want to empower you to live a better life so we can build a better future and that we don't have to live in this freaking dystopian society that's happening in front of our eyes, okay? I choose to dream a bigger dream. Hopefully you do too. And if you're into that, leave a 5-star review. Thank you. Now, a part of the show that I've always done is like a little life update section. And I do have life updates. If you're a fan of the show, which literally just means if you're my mom or my friends or, I have gotten several subscribers on YouTube since last time we spoke, just posting shorts and whatnot. So that's really exciting. So welcome. But yeah, I checked in 9 months ago and I have not talked to y'all since. Sorry about that. Real big sorry. First life update, I turned 31 yesterday. I think I said that in the top of the show. Yesterday, June 7th. It is Gemini season, so chaos magic is afoot. For all my woo-woo girlies, like it's giving intellect, it's giving conversation, it's giving communication. And that is what I've been doing the last several weeks. The last couple weekends, because I don't have any hobbies going on right now in my life, I'm literally just like reeling my energy in from every corner of the universe right now. And the last couple weekends, in my close circle of friends, I've just been staying up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, just yapping. Yip. Like we're talking about tarot, we're doing tarot spreads, we're talking about astrology, we're doing woo stuff. Like we are in community, we are chit-chatting, we are talking about our lives, we are talking about the future, we are talking about our plans. And if that's not speaking to the magic that is Gemini, I don't know what is. I'm a Gemini sun and Mercury, so throat chakra, she's locked in. She is defined AF, okay? Welcome to my podcast. So I've been feeling that energy, and I think that's why I'm here now. All day today. Yesterday, I spent the whole day with my nephew and my brother from another mother. We grew up together. We have the same birthday. All 3 of us have the same birthday and their dog. And so we celebrated this like trio. And then I woke up this morning so tired. My throat was like hoarse and dry from talking all day yesterday. And it felt like I'm starting a new chapter. Like it physically felt like, and now I'm in a new timeline. Like the last chapter just closed. And I think I was waiting for that before I showed up to this podcast again. And you're probably asking, well, what happened in the last chapter? Okay. Last time we talked to you, you were somewhere in some random person's house. I was in Florida. And you're talking about love and spirituality. Like what the hell has been where you been, Loca? Well, I'm going to tell you where I've been. I've been through a friendship breakup. I've been through a romantic relationship breakup again with the same person I've been chit-chatting, yip-yapping about for the last 4 years. It's done. And both of those relationships were like key players in the alchemy of my life the last year, the last 10 months. Longer than that, but like in the last 9 months since I've talked to you, those 2 relationships crumbling to the ground have reshaped the trajectory of my life. They have it's crazy. I woke up this morning and I felt like, and those are officially done. There's something about like the birthday, I know that the birthday represents renewal, traditionally, and like you've completed a lap around the sun and now it's time to start a new one. Like it's time to literally start a new cycle of you traveling around the sun on the earth, and I woke up and I felt that intuitively, I felt that physically. And when I journaled this morning about it, it was just like, I think that the words that I ended up writing they were something along the lines of, well, now that's put to bed. And I tucked it away nicely and I said, thank you. And I'm so grateful. And I am so excited to move on. And I didn't have that excitement feeling until today. Because what happened the last 2 weeks leading up to the birthday? Lots of thinking, lots of like reminiscing, lots of, well, maybe, lots of processing, lots of thinking of the past, lots of, it's been months since I've talked to either one of these people. And by design, like the endings have happened and, things still come up. And what has traditionally come up for me is like, usually it's like the good stuff, you know, but what has come up for me the last 2 weeks has been all the disappointments. Just the disappointments. The biggest disappointment of them all is the disappointment of the thing ending. Because, you know, you have, when you love somebody, you have this whole idea of what your lives are going to look like together, and you make all these plans in your head, and when that ends, you're like not just grieving the relationship, but you're grieving the future, you know? And I'm not the first person to think of this or to say this, but I was, you know, or the first person to experience it, but that's been true for me. And life update is that I've burned pretty much my whole life to the ground. My most foundational relationships, minus my, you know, my family, just into thin air. I mean, I say that it was like tumultuous and like so much crying and so much grieving and so much disappointment, but I feel grateful. I feel grateful for that. Those relationships alchemized me. I am giving I'm like giving burned to the ground and then rose from the ashes like the phoenix. Like, and I'm not even the phoenix yet. That's the part that feels so cool. It's like, I'm not even the phoenix. I'm still like, I'm like in this weird, I'm like the ash in the ground, but it's starting to like mush itself together to form some kind of interesting shape, right? And maybe this is what it feels like to be on the other side of your Saturn return. Like, for my astrology girlies, like, if you know if you are 27, 28, 29, 30, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? That Saturn return kicked my ass. And those two relationships were like the whole focus pinpoint of my Saturn return. Mostly my romantic relationship was like the lesson. It was like the thing that caught my attention that I just could not let my, you know, chubby little fingers let go of. And then finally I just surrendered. Man. Ah, yeah, like deep. I just surrendered to that shit. It wasn't working. And for years I was like, but we can make it work. And then I'm like, no, it just doesn't. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Incompatibility is true. And let's give each other what we need, which is not each other, you know? So that's a life update. I feel completely transformed, completely alchemized, completely empowered. Like, I feel like I finally got my footing back after the last 9 months, and like I'm here and I'm myself. And what's crazy is that there's so much other transition going on around me. Like, I've been in transition for so long, but now I'm in transition on my terms, for me, by me. And it feels really empowering and it feels really good. And so what does that look like? It looks like me moving out of my condo I've been living in for 5 years. Like, I'm trying to list it myself and be my own like realtor. That's the transition that's happening. Some other life updates are like, I'm moving in with my parents. You're like, oh, she's got a condo, she's doing her thing. Yeah, I'm doing that so I can move in with my parents. But this has never felt like a more forward step motion for me than anything else. Like, like moving with my parents right now feels like such the right thing to do. And it's because I finally, at the ripe old age of 31, have like financial literacy. So like, I'm moving in with my parents to like save money. I have no shame about it. I have no ego about it. If anything, I'm like, you're doing me a favor, doing you a favor, doing me a favor, doing you a favor. You know, like we're all adults here. We're like in our own little commune, you know? I feel very blessed. I feel very grateful. And like, obviously, like I own a home, you know, but in this economy, I'm like, listen, the only way you can really get a leg up is if you're A, partnered, or B, have a roommate. And I'm like, I'd rather live with my parents than with a stranger. That might be me, but my mom's my best friend. I feel very blessed. I won the mom lottery. What can I say? So that's a new life update. I went to freaking Germany, bro. I went to Deutschland. Ach ja. I had the time of my life, yeah. Do not come for me if you're from Germany. I am so sorry. I did take German for 4 years. Can I speak it? Nein. Mein Deutsch ist nicht sehr gut. But I was ordering the shit out of some Kugeln. Yeah, I was ordering all the ice Kugeln. for like 3 full weeks. I was eating gelato every single mother freaking day. I went to the Sound of Music tour. It's my favorite movie ever of all time. I was in the mountains singing "The Hills Are Alive." Like, I was with one of my best friends from high school. She was a foreign exchange student with me when we lived in Maryland. She lives in Frankfurt. That was amazing. I got to hang out with her parents. I got to eat freaking Mozart Kuchen. I got to eat ice cream. I got to go to the mountains. I got to go on the Sound of Music tour. I was crying on that Sound of Music tour, like on the bus, just like, it was a lonely like, just cry. I was so happy and so in my whimsical ass mother freaking inner child bag. My inner child was kicking and screaming. And if you're new to the show, I did a whole mini series last season on inner child work and the tools that have helped me and the tools that could help you. So if you're into that, go check it out. Me and my inner child are locked in for life, bro. And when I did that Sound of Music tour in Salzburg, Austria, she almost shit her pants. Like, she was so happy. Like, I could cry thinking about it right now. Like, I bought the stuffed animals that look like the puppets. Like, I bought a sweater. I got a picture in front of the church where Maria von Trapp and Georg got married. Like, I did the whole kit and caboodle. And now I want to move to Germany. So that's a life update. We'll see if we make it happen. I don't know. A couple of the other things that have come to my mind in the last couple of weeks is I've been spending a lot of time with my friends and their kids and my sister and her daughter and my brother and his daughter. And, there's people in the world who love kids and there's people in the world who are like, eh. And I realized, and I've known this about myself, but I don't think I realized how in depth it went, but I effing love kids. And I had this realization, and it sounds so stupid, like when I say it out loud, but I had this realization a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, kids make the world go round. I know it sounds so silly and trivial and kind of dumb and kind of like dee-dee, but like really, like children they make being alive awesome. They make being an adult like so much better. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that most adults are disconnected from their inner child. But for me, I am so connected to my inner child that when I play with children, I feel most myself. And when I say play with children, I mean like literally play. Like don't be gross, okay? But like I love like playing make believe, and I love playing with food and like cutting them. And yes, of course, it doesn't get exhausting. Of course, Auntie wants to go take a nap too, but I just like the magic that lives in the mind of a child, in their eyes, like their pure of heartedness, their pure intentionality. I'm just like, fuck, like I love the children. Auntie loves the kids. Auntie loves the kids. And it's so true. And, whether that translates to me being a mother eventually, I don't know. But all I do know is that I've got whatever that mothering spirit is, that is in me. And I fully accept that. And I fully just like, I lead with that. And I think I love kids so much because I feel like I am so pure of heart too. Like I do not be sitting here plotting against people. I do not have this manipulation bone in my brain that's like, I gotta get a leg up on people. Like that's not me. Like I literally am like, everything I say is true and or well-intentioned and or like I am never trying to be a bitch or manipulative. And I think in kids are the same way. Like they're just silly little geese and I love them. And I get why people have them now. I didn't really understand the full range of like the human experience of like, I want to have kids. I'm like, well, and I think about it now, I'm like, oh, no wonder you want to have kids because they give you permission to be childlike. They give you this new found sense of like childlike wonder and all these things. And I have that myself. I don't need kids to show me that, but it's so fun to be able to share that with other kids. And I think that comes from a place of like not interacting with adults who are like that as often as I'd like, So this podcast, my hope is that you go watch the Inner Child series and you connect with your inner child so we can be besties, so we can be locked in our childlike wonder, okay? So that's pretty much all the life updates. I wanted to do this thing where I talked about, before we get into the main topic of the show, what has been inspiring me lately, right? Like, life updates are cool and all, but like, I feel like inspiration can live everywhere and anywhere. And I'm on this journey of trying to create more than I consume, right? And it kind of goes into the topic of the episode of like, it wasn't really so serious. But I want to talk about like what has been inspiring me, like kind of what led me to starting this season 3 again, right? And one of the main ones is there's this creator. Okay, well, let me start with this. Ever since I started this podcast, even before then, I had been journaling and excuse me, oopsie, I burped. I'm just a girl. What had been coming up for me was I want to have a life that I don't have to vacation from, right? I want to be creative. I want to create more than I consume. I want to make money. Like if people ask me what my dream job is, you know what I say? I say, I want to get paid to talk. And not just to talk, I want to get paid to share ideas and to help people and to empower people and to yeah, just like exchange knowledge, exchange philosophy, speak truth to power. Like I want to change the world in whatever small, minute way I can. If it's big, great, you know? That's what I want to do. I want to not just be a creator, but to make a living. I mean, I hate that we have to work to be alive. Let me just get that out there. But if I have to work, I want to do it in a way that makes sense for me and my gifts, right? And what makes me feel most alive selfishly is having conversation, is exchanging ideas, is sitting with the person one-on-one and helping them work through their emotions, helping them ask themselves questions, like guiding them through an experience that at the end of it, they not only feel more connected and grounded to themselves, but they feel more empowered to be themselves, to live their life, to do what they want to set out to do, to have courage. I want to give people courage. And I know I can't give people that, but my hope is that by me doing my thing and being unapologetically myself and working so hard every day to keep showing up as that it then gives somebody else the courage to do the same. I've had courage in so many areas of my life, but the one place that I don't have true courage in, at least it's hard for me to get there on a daily basis, is like the career piece of it, is the consistently showing up piece. It's, why do this if nobody cares piece, right? And I'm constantly fighting those two wolves in my head. And all that to say, one of the things that has been inspiring me lately is this creator named Glow Atonmo. She's amazing. I actually had like an opportunity to speak with her once when she was opening up her one-on-one coaching. And I knew I didn't have the money to hire her, but I wanted to get on her books and just meet her because she was so cool. And there's so much about her that reminds me of myself, but she's like the embodiment of what I want to be. And I'm still in like the beginning stages. And anyway, look her up, Glow Atonmo. She's amazing. She's traveled to over 105 countries. She's been a travel blogger for like 15 years. She's a business coach. She's amazing. And now she's doing this series on like how to make money on YouTube. And it, a lot of it is just thinking of an idea, recording a 30-minute video and posting it, right? She does it every single day. And I keep watching this and I keep watching her the testimonies of like her clients who work with her. And I'm like, fuck. Like there's so much money to be made, and not just from this gross capitalistic place, but from a place of like genuine sharing, genuine help, genuine curiosity, genuine community, and they're doing the work and I'm not, right? And so where you find jealousy lives in your mind, it's usually pointing to something that you deeply desire, right? It's usually pointing to desire, and actually not to, jealousy is like the symptom of desire, which is the symptom of which ultimately makes you sad because you just feel like you're not enough, right? And then it digs at this wound. Anyway, she's been really inspiring me, Glow Atonmo. So I'm inspired to make more content, to make more videos, and to put myself out there and just be like, fuck it. Like, it is not that serious. It is not that serious. Like, overthinking every single thing you do is not that serious. Like, being myself is not that serious. Posting content is not that serious. Like, why am I putting all this pressure and this perfectionistic thinking on something that is comes so natural to me? Sharing, communicating, right? Like, what am I so afraid of, right? What if I just played, right? We'll get into that. So she's been inspiring me. This other creator named Chris Corsini, and I'm not sponsored by these people. I'm just sharing with you. Maybe you look them up. Maybe they inspire you too. Chris Corsini is an astrologer. He's a tarot reader. He is an artist. I'm in a parasocial relationship with him because we are both Gemini suns. I think he's a Libra rising Cancer moon, and I'm a Libra moon Cancer rising. So I just feel really akin to him. He moved from Canada to Portugal. He opened up this super dope wellness center that I want to visit one day. I think I want to immigrate to Portugal in the next 10 years. I think that's on my 10-year plan. That's something new that's come to me the last couple weeks. I'm learning Spanish so that I can then learn Portuguese. Like, that's coming through the last 4 weeks. I'm on my 30-day streak on Duolingo. That's been inspiring me. And I'm getting like serious about this shit. Like, for whatever reason, I woke up this morning, or I woke up 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, this is what my life is pointing towards, right? So he's been inspiring me. He's also got a new book called The Audacity Experiment, which I've only read the first 2 pages of, but I'm already like, fuck, this is just like a book that I would write. In my mind's eye, I have a book like this 10 years from now, and he's 35, and I'm like, damn. So it's all these people that I'm starting to like witness. I've been following for years, but for whatever reason, something about my like frequency and my energy is like resonating with them more than before. And now I'm like, oh, I've been studying these people because this is the direction that my soul wants to go. They've done the thing that you're supposed to do, which is burn down all of your conventional thinking and build yourself from the ground up, being authentically exactly who you are, even if it means you lose relationships, even if it means, you're not the most beloved whatever. People pleasing is not the answer. Like, it is time for me to put my big girl panties on and be exactly who the fuck I think I am and become her. That's been inspiring me, okay? And I know I'm like, it's not that serious, but I'm like being like, it's so serious. But not me pointing. You better listen, bro. If you're not watching on the YouTube, I'm like using a lot of hand gestures. I'm pointing. Anyway, it's quite intimidating, I imagine. But what else has been inspiring me is financial freedom. Like, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I have never been more inspired to get my money right. And to the point where I am literally moving out of the place that I own to go move in with my parents so I can pay down my debts, become financially free, and then go wherever the fuck I want. I keep looking at these different retreats that look cool that I want to go on, but they're like $4,000, $3,000. And I'm like, absolutely not, bro. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay my debts. I'm going to go to all these places. I'm going to do my own thing, and maybe I'll make a retreat. How about that? So that's been really inspiring me. The idea of financial freedom. I'm using an app, not sponsored, called Monarch. That is a tool that has totally helped me. I can see every single account that I have, every single savings account, every single investment account. I finally have like more than, a couple $10,000 for my retirement. I am like finally feeling like I'm finally like swimming towards the top of the water of, I feel like I've been deep to the depths of the ocean in financial illiteracy. And I'm finally coming up to breathe, I'm not even swimming. I'm just like fighting for my life, but I'm almost there. I'm almost able to drink the oxygen, right? That's been really inspiring me. I'm just like the idea of being able to go wherever I want and do whatever I want and being patient enough, but actually putting a plan together using this app, that Monarch app, again, not sponsored, just really loving the app. As a girl who spent my whole 20s like getting into credit card debt, and I'm still drowning in student loans. It's a lot, but using the app, I can look at it every day and I can like sit down and, maybe money is that serious. Okay. Maybe money is that serious. What else? This came to me the other day when I was sitting with my friends, and I was like, what if we just owned what we want? What if that happened? What if instead of me being sad about what I don't have because I'm not working toward it, what if I just allowed myself to want what I want? And what I was thinking of in that moment was I was thinking of my last relationship, even my friendship that ended. And I was like, I refuse to shrink what I desire because all of the data points to the fact that it doesn't exist. All the data I've collected throughout my love life, my whole life, has pointed to the fact that what I desire does not exist, or it at least does not exist in my orbit yet, right? And that is, I want a soulmate, lover, life partner, creator of a world together. I want someone who feels like family. I want to feel so close to somebody that they're as close to me as like I am with my mom. I want an unconditional partnership in love. I want two people who come together equally yoked, building a business, building a life, building a family together. That is what I want. And I want us to be loyal to each other to the end if that's possible. And I just kept finding myself post-breakup being like, well, realistically, like it's probably, I found myself settling in my mind. And I was like, no matter what I do and what I end up choosing, what is true for me is that is what I want. And I might spend the rest of my life being disappointed that I don't have it, but I accept that because what I refuse to do is settle my imagination. Are you kidding me? The moment I stop dreaming a bigger dream, it's a wrap for me. It's a motherfucking wrap. And also, call me a delusional girly. I do have a Neptune complex for the astrology girlies out there. Delusional, I know. But I have it for a reason. If nobody in society dreams a bigger dream, what do we have? We have what has always been. And how fucking boring is that? The one thing I cannot stand in a person is a lack of curiosity and a lack of creativity. I mean, my God, how boring. You just accept things as they are? Ew. Ugh. Blech. Ugh. Yes, I accept I understand what is happening at play, and I refuse to accept that is the best we can do. And I'm never going to apologize for that. Never. Never, 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 never. It's like, oh, you can point out the problems? Cool. Where are the solutions? I feel like that's the problem with society at large right now. No one's got any, everyone knows what the problems are. Oh, everything's going to shit, man. Well, what are the solutions? What are you doing? What are you going to do about it? You're just going to complain and be scared? Ew. Ew. There's a time and place for that, but Jesus Christ, all the time? Come on. Come on. Anyway, so claiming my desires has been really inspiring me, and that's why I'm here too. That's why I'm like, all day I had this little nudge in the back of my mind of like, what if I dropped a pod tomorrow? What if? And I was like, no, I'm tired. No, it's not time. I have to set up all this stuff. No, I want to do it. I want to do it. Is it okay that I have desires? Is that going to be okay with you? So anyway, that leads me to, what if it was never that serious? Today's topic. What if it was never that serious? What if nothing is ever that serious? What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is this. I woke up on June 6th June 6th, a couple days ago, so Saturday, and I'm recording this on Monday, and over the last 9 months, I have not been writing in my journal. I have not been checking in. Another reason why I haven't shown up for my creativity is that I've been totally removed from my inner knowing, my consciousness, my intuition. I have just been in full grief mode. And I allow myself to do that. I mean, would the journaling probably help with that? Yes. But everything comes when it needs to, and it goes when it needs to. And here we are. So I picked my journal back up when I was in Germany. I wrote an entry, and I was like, it's time to come back to the journal. And every time I get that download, I try my best to honor that, because that means that there's something afoot. There's something there that wants my attention and my intuition, And so I journaled when I was in Germany, like the last day I was there. And then, fast forward 2 months or a month, and I journaled on the 6th. And this is what I wrote. Morning pages, June 6th, 2026, 11:45 a.m. I'm feeling confident in my path forward. All signs point to play. Like, what if I just stopped being so serious? What if whoa, can I write, bro? I'm like trying I like just trying to do my chicken scratch. Anyway, let me keep it going. What if I just gave up on this dream of entrepreneurship and relaxed for a second? If I released the pressure, would that be okay? Can I have permission to play? To be in flow? What about to express myself freely? That sounds way more fun than tricking an algorithm and having all the right SEO words. What if I'm not supposed to be so polished? Yes, it's good to help people, but all signs point to me being the most helpful when I vibe and I be goofy and I be myself. It might not be the most popular thing for the masses, but what if I just followed my curiosity? What if I was just me and that was enough? What if I was worthy of abundance and flow and could relax into the knowing that I am already taken care of and I have the power to do it every day, to take care of myself and to vibe and play and partake in all my rituals? Not everything has to be this big thing with all this pressure. Yes, some things take work, but Jesus Christ, it doesn't have to be a chore. The more I relax and flow, the more energy is granted to me. Create from a place of play. You have no idea where it will take you, but you know it will be fun. I have no idea how the rest of this year will go. I have no idea where I'll be this time next year. But what I do know is that creating more than I consume is my only mission. Playing more than I panic. The more I am myself, the more seen and heard I will feel. The more I flow, the more flows to me. Lots of people start to see me when I put myself out there. Let them watch. And once I set a boundary, they seem to disappear. But I trust in my skills. I trust in my abilities. I trust in my play and its profoundness. I used to make videos all the time with my thoughts. What if we just kept doing that whenever we felt called to? Somewhere away from disappointing eyes, perhaps? I think it does make a difference. What if I truly stopped caring and started living? What if I played and let everything else play out exactly as it will? I'm excited to step into the unknown. I am divinely taken care of. I love you. Thank you. Well, and how did that feel? How did that land for you? Because when I wrote that and it was coming out of me, I was like, whoa, where the hell is this coming from? I haven't written in my journal for months, and this is the first thing. I wake up on the 6th of June, the day before I turn 31. This is what's coming out. Why so serious? Ooh. It's almost like I spent 9 months impregnated with this pressure and this fear and this guilt of not showing up for the podcast and not showing up for my creativity and not showing up for dance and not showing. I stripped myself of everything creative that I loved, of my relationships, of the things that I was rooted in. I stripped myself of that, and because of that, I put all this pressure on myself to like still keep going along and chugging along like everything's fine and I'm fine and I'm not. And instead of birthing this like big old baby, of gross stuff, I woke up and I wrote that. What an invitation. What an invitation. What if I wasn't so serious? What if I just fucking played? I've had this idea in my head for literal months, just floating around, but I never gave it legs because I've been distracted and I've been avoiding it. Because if I accepted that, if I chose that, then that would mean that I would be more successful. And being more successful means I'd have more eyes on me. And the more eyes on me means the more I'd be judged. And the more I'd be judged means the more I'd feel insecure. And the more insecure I felt meant that I wasn't good. And that would scratch my wound of unworthiness. Am I unworthy of success? I ask myself to myself. No, fuck no. I want to say and believe. I mean, yes. Yeah, fuck yes. Whoa, I confused myself. Of course I am. I meant, of course I'm worthy of success. Not fuck no, I'm not because I'm not worthy of success. Whoa. Of course. And yet, the whole point of this podcast is to try to unlearn all the crap that was projected onto us. And I still have this wound that was given to me. I was wounded. How often do you wound yourself? Let's talk about the etymology of that word. How often do you wound yourself? Most of our wounds are coming from outside sources. And yet, the older I get and the more work I do, the more I realize our wounds are our wounds. And they can heal, but they will always scar. And I have scars of unworthiness. But what if it wasn't so serious? What if it wasn't so? What if I got to play? What if I got to be scarred up and I got to still play? What if I was scarred up and I got to be silly and maybe people try to wound me, but I have boundaries now. I have boundaries. I'm never going to get the same wound in the same place by the same person ever again. I've made sure of it. Those people do not exist in my life anymore. And there are plenty of people that I've known forever who have never wounded me. And they've only accepted my play and encouraged my play. And they fucking love my play. They love my goofy. They love my silly. They love how much it fires them up. They love seeing my light burn bright. I love seeing my light burn bright. And yet the two wolves that live inside of me, one wants to burn bright and the other one wants to put out the fire. And it's like, they say the wolves, whichever wolf you feed is the one that grows, And I'm out here giving like rations, okay, a little bit for you, a little bit for you. And I keep doing this thing a little bit for you. And I'll move in the direction towards my purpose. I'll post a season of the podcast, And then I'll go through something that causes me a lot of grief and then I'll pull back, And I have no regrets. I have no regrets. I have no shame. I have no more guilt. Truly, at the core of myself, I truly believe that. But it is the thing of like, damn, that was 9 months. Oh. And then I have the story of like the timeline of my life, like the timeline. And I'm like, the timeline for who, bitch? When you're in a relationship, it's like the timeline exists, but the second you escape the matrix of relationship, a relationship that isn't going to go anywhere or be fulfilling long term, it's like, oh my God, what timeline? And I was talking to somebody about this. I'm like, I'm a person who loves children and I would love the opportunity to be a mother under the right circumstances. And by the right circumstances, I mean with a partner who is my life partner, soulmate, like we could do business together, like type vibe. But without that, it's like, no, thank you. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in mothering a child with a person who isn't going to be a good father, like that is like a prerequisite for me. I'm not someone who's going to be like, I'm going to have a baby, at least not now. Maybe I'll change my mind when I'm 40. I don't know. But I was talking to somebody about how when you are single and you are in your 30s and you do have this idea of maybe, possibly, it's kind of like you are still stuck in that matrix of time. You are still stuck with that, like, well, if I am going to do it, maybe I need to do it in the next 10 years. Like, but then with who? And it just kind of gets you down when you try to plan your life, But then I realized if I don't do what's right for me and what's good for me in this moment, outside of anybody else, outside of anybody I potentially date, I'm never going to meet these people who are going to be in my life in 10 years from now. Like, there are people in the world who I've never met who are going to love me. How crazy is that to think about? I love that. I get impatient about it. I'm like, well, where are you? Like, it's about time, but no, man. So yeah, I wrote that. I'm like, what if I just get to play, man? And there's so many people I know who need to hear that, who need to ask themselves that question. Ask yourself that question. What if it's not so serious? Even if you are trying to have a baby, if you are trying to find love, even if you are in love, even if you do have kids, like, what if you just played more, bro? What if you just adapted a childlike spirit and laughed a little bit about it? Like, oh my God, like even the state of the world is like so insane and like low and high key dystopian. It's kind of like, it's like a Simpsons episode, and those were funny, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? Like that's, there's also there's a time and place to be serious. Don't get me wrong. I do not take what's happening lightly in the world at all. That's another reason why I'm getting financially secure. Cause like I would be a wet dream for the Handmaid's Tale people. Okay. I'm a single woman. I own a home. I'm childless. They're like, and you're of childbearing years, girl. First in line, come on up. First in line. So I'm already like, I did buy a shovel. I did buy an axe. Just in case. Listen. I'm not suspicious. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious, right? So anyway, there's one thing to be fearful and panicked, and another thing to be prepared. And I like to think of myself as someone who would be more prepared, I refuse to give in to the fear mongering. I refuse to give in to the low frequencies that they're trying to siphon from us. I refuse. I rebuke that. I will dream a bigger dream. And while I do it, I'm going to be less serious, guys. So and maybe I will show up to this podcast a little goofier. Maybe you're going to see more content from me on the page. Also, I'm going to start posting on my personal YouTube page that's coming soon, more with like more different kinds of content, different kinds of videos. And I know last time I was on here, I said, I'm going to start posting the podcast every other week. Do not listen to me when I say that. When you see it, believe it. Okay. I usually in real life, I'm like, believe it and you'll see it. And maybe, you know what? Maybe you do believe in me. Maybe you send me those good vibes. Maybe I need them. Is that too much to ask? Can you send me good vibes, bro? Can you send good vibes that I get my condo rented out? And that you leave a 5-star review for this podcast so that like this can pop off and blow up and we can all be internet friends and everyone gets paid, you know? Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. I'm sending that same thing to you. And I want you to take with you this week the question, what if I got to play? What if it wasn't so serious? And I want to see where you can apply that in your life, where it's necessary, where it's appropriate. Where in your life have you been holding on to this perfectionist idea of something? Where if you've been holding yourself to a standard that is really not needed? You know, what if you in love, what if you've been too perfectionist in love and you're like, they need to have this, and this. And it's like, what if you just went on dates and you had fun? What if you just kikied a little bit? What if you have kids and they've been stressing you out and pissing you off? What if you just trolled them a little bit? Like not traumatized trolling, but like, what if you just, little fibs here and there? I don't know. Goof around a little bit. Loosen up those shoulders. Give it a little shake. Ask yourself, where in life is it really that serious? Even in these breakups with these people, I'm like, at the end of the day, we all gave each other something. And it makes me like, and all those memories we made, like will cherish that shit forever. Like it was so serious. And now I'm finally getting to a place where I'm like, bro, c'est la vie. That's life. And I loved you and you loved me and we love each other forever, but we cannot do it together. And that is okay. It's not that serious. It's just life. And I accept what's true and I move forward as the best way I know how. Does that mean that I'm okay 24/7? No, but does it mean that there are mantras that help me get through? Yes. And one of those is, was it ever that serious? And the answer can be both yes and no. And I love leaving room for those two things to be true. So I will leave you with that. What if you played more? What if it's not that serious? And if it is that serious, let that be serious. But if it doesn't need to, maybe we loosen up a little bit. Maybe we give ourselves more grace. Maybe we do cry and that turns into laughter. Maybe we do laugh and that turns into crying. Whatever it is, give yourself permission to flow, bro. Give yourself permission to sit in whatever season you're in. And even when it's over, if you can look back on it and recognize that was needed and that was important and you're grateful for that part of your life, that's cool too. I feel like that's the place that I'm in finally. And there are going to be seasons of me dipping in and out of like the disappointment of it all. But right now I'm in a season of like, hell yeah, that fucking changed my life. And thank you for that, because now I'm a version of myself that I wasn't before. And I'm so grateful of what I've become and who I became because I knew you. Thank you for that. And I mean that with total sincerity. And I feel like that's a big piece of this too, is like, especially when it comes to relationships or, maybe it's work or maybe it's kids, maybe whatever it is, maybe it's your partner, whatever it is, sincerity and pure heartedness is important in this, because I'm not being sarcastic when I say this. And I'm especially saying it to just myself. I mean, take away everybody else. Where for yourself are you're holding on a little too tight and you're being a little too judgmental? Because where you judge other people, you're usually judging yourself, right? We project what's true for us. And I didn't make that up. I'm not a psychologist. This is not mental health advice. This is just anecdotal, things that I've kind of come to myself. So I will leave you with that. I'm so grateful for you. I love you. If you are new, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's a lot of me chit-chatting and talking. And, maybe I'm in your ear on your lunch break. Maybe you're in the car driving. Maybe you're studying and I'm hanging out. We're hanging out. Me in my pink room, you in yours, maybe. I don't know. But if you liked this episode, let me know in the comments where in your life you could be a little less serious. Where in your life could you incorporate more play? And by play, I mean laughter, flow, like excitement, joy, childlike wonderment. Like where in your life are you experiencing where in your life do you need the medicine of play and the medicine of, is it really that serious? Right? Like, let me know in the comments. Again, please give the show a 5-star review. Leave a little comment. Let me know what you liked. Guys, come on. Whenever I'm doing these episodes, like, I want to hear from you. I want to know what works and what doesn't. Mostly what works. I don't like negative comments, but I will listen to them and I will take them into consideration. But I just want to say thanks for hanging out. And welcome to season 3 of Perfection Unfolding with me, Kara G. I'll see you next time. Bye.